episode 26, Suds to Success podcast. Joel LaPalme's on today, Apeax Global. This company is a fantastic company that's currently going crazy in the industry. This was a fantastic episode, tons of information, not just about PPF, tint, and all the stuff they offer, business knowledge. I was super excited and super surprised with what you're going to hear in this episode. Let's take a listen. Hey everybody, welcome to the 26th episode of Suds to Success podcast. My name's Andrew.
And I'm Bergeron.
And that's
is Joel.
There you go. That's your part. All right. So a few information. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Suds to Success podcast.com is our website, and we're Suds to Success podcast everywhere on short form content. Today we have a great guest, and why I say that is there's a lot of new stuff coming out in the industry, especially from this company that he is a part of. Went from retirement back into the industry, which I don't know what you were thinking there, but you were thinking something
on my terms.
Yeah. So say hello to Joel from Apeax. Tons of great products. We're both Apeax installers, so we thought it was a natural progression for the podcast to get you on. And Paulo is a good friend of ours, and he's a troublemaker. And and I think it was a good idea to get you on. So first, I guess we can kind of go into kind of who you are, what you're all about, maybe your past. We can kind of bounce off there and see where we end up.
Sure. So Joel LaPalme, a lot of people know me, especially in this industry. They know me as the past owner of IGL Coatings. So my partner and I, Jeff Carey, we owned IGL Coatings North America, Caribbeans, and some parts of Latin America. So we owned a pretty big chunk, and we grew the business from zero to hero. You know what? We were number one in the industry, and I think they still stand as number one today globally. 6 continents, 64 countries. Now, today I retired. I sold the company. Jeff and I sold the company to friends of ours, Mike Carlin and Dustin Jackson, 2 great guys. Deserved it. And you know what? We could have went different ways, but you know what? I think these guys are awesome, and it's going to give them an opportunity to grow it more and do something special with it. So we retired, Jeff and I have a second home up at Cobble Beach, and where I am today, actually, and it's on the 16th fairway. And I play a lot of golf. I golfed 87 rounds last year. And then when the golf course closed, I went and opened my mouth. I said, what am I going to do for the winter? There's no golfing. So I had four different companies approach me. 3 I had to say no to pretty well right away because they were against my non-compete agreement. But Ed was a friend of mine. Ed come from the IGL world in Vietnam. So he approached me, and then I looked at it, and I spoke with Kyung at IGL, spoke with Mike and Dustin, and everybody was cool with me taking on the position as at first it was only going to be Apeax North America, but then the board of Apeax asked me shortly thereafter if I would be the president for Apeax Global. So I said, yes, I will, and we'll do that for a little bit. And so far it hasn't interfered with my golf game, so I'm good.
All right. So in terms of what we do with Apeax, because we had Paulo on a few months ago, 4 months ago, and we didn't do tint or PPF at all before, just straight coatings. I never been an IGL installer, so don't hate me.
No, not at all.
Paulo stole me. Him, him and that look and his, demeanor. And
no, you were doing the OP. That's cool. Listen, I have never been. One thing you're going to know about me is I am all about the installer. I'm not about the brands. I'm not about anything else. If I can help installers be successful, that'll make the industry a better place, and it'll make you guys healthier installers. So it has nothing to do with the brand. What I look at is I look at the businesses, I look at how you're doing your stuff, and I say, hey, let's take this and fix it so you can make more money. That's it.
It's a good way to look at it. It's actually a very proactive way of looking at it, and really how it should be.
Yeah, 100%.
So he calls me up. Me and him talk smack to each other all the time. That's how our relationship is. And as a distributor, it's very interesting. And as a consumer, it's very interesting, but it's fun. And so he goes, listen, you got to try this Apeax stuff. I'm bringing it in. I'm going to be distributing it. I'm like, Paulo, I don't want to be doing tint or PPF. Like, honestly, I don't. Not at this time. He's like, listen, you got to try it. Get him on for a podcast episode. The only reason why he was on is because Urjan was sick. So I'm like, can you help me out? He was on vacation, did the episode from Florida. So thankful for that. He goes, you got to be talk to me. And he's like, you got to be doing tint. I'm like, fine, I'll suffer. I'll do tint. Because I'm like, I was doing so good at the coatings. We're a very busy shop and for our sound. And so we did tint training in May or June. Then they give us some like cheaper tint to use. Wasn't that great in the training? And so he's like, okay, try the Apeax stuff. Reached out to Don, who's our distributor for Ontario. I said, all right, hook it up. Let's see what you got. Man, is that stuff good. And I would totally, I wouldn't bring it up or I wouldn't have you on if I didn't like it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't put you in that light. No, but if I didn't like something, I would never put you in that light. I would pretend. It's not the way I am. But what I like about it is the stuff just works. So then this is window tint. Now we're looking at PPF, which is next. And then this windshield film, which we got to talk about because Paulo's all in my ear about. Yeah, Paulo's all in my ear about.
Game changer.
So what I like about the company is the product. It's a premium product, which I'm all for. I don't care if I pay a few extra dollars for something that works and the customer's happy with it. Totally for it. I brought on carbon and ceramic for tint. I'm selling a ton more ceramic. I wasn't planning to be honest, but I am. And the stuff works great. It just works. Let's talk about this, I guess, Apeax in general as a company, and then we can kind of build into the products.
Yeah. So Apeax, fabulous company. We're based out of Hong Kong. We have a board. And then you got Ed, Alan, myself that work for Apeax, and just a fabulous company. And they're willing to invest and to grow. We manufacture, which is beautiful. You know what? We're able to pivot. We have a big company behind us, and in the big company, there's a whole bunch of little arms, right? So one of the things that we're going to be launching is our microfiber towels shortly. So that should be coming in the next 4 to 6 weeks at the most. So that'll be something that's really exciting. And again, we're not going to be carrying 100 types of them. We'll carry the top 12, maybe, whatever, and we'll make sure that the quality is above. With me, it's got to be there or above all the time because I'm attaching my name to it. So I don't want anything to come back and haunt me or bite me in the ass. So we're going to do a really good job. And Ed and Alan are the same way. Alan works with all of the manufacturers really closely. And we try to get the raw ingredients or the materials that we can then work within our facilities. So that's where we're lucky. We control everything from A to Z. So from the raw materials to the manufacturing, which we do, and then to getting it out to our distributors, and from them getting it out to our customers. We're lucky because we also have an SEO company, as you guys know, Detailers Movement, right, with Ed and those guys. And so that's really good because we're able to help promote and boost in areas where needed. Like if you talk to Don, and I'm sure Don's going to be watching this anyways, but I think that he'll be able to tell Ed and the team over there that, hey, Windsor, let's target that area. Let's try to do a little bit of SEO stuff in that area, which is cool because other companies don't do that. They leave that on you to go and source that and do that, right? So again, just goes back to my philosophy where my job is to help you sell my product. My job is not to sell a product and then leave it. Then, okay, you guys call me when you need more, buy. And in 6 months down the road, you got an electrical bill in January, February, and you don't got business because it's winter. and you go in a closet and all you see is Apeax stuff collecting dust, you'll be pissed at me. I don't want that. I'd rather JIT as much as possible. It's our responsibility as a manufacturer distributor to be in stock when our customers need the product. So, and we're trying to get there. Obviously, with the US and Canada, we're learning as we go, because the windshield protection film, the stuff has just arrived this week. I'm sure you saw it. Paulo posted. I think we're going to be out of stock by Friday.
Oh, easily. But even he's been hyping me up on this stuff for months.
Yeah.
So, which he's good at that, but he really is. He's like, this stuff works. You don't have to shrink it. You just throw it on. It's like good money. So let's kind of dive into the windshield film, because you see it in the industry. I'll tell you my worries, and I think you'll be able to answer them. My first worry is, how long does it last? In terms of what I'm scared about is if it's something that lasts like a year and we have to reapply it every year, like kind of maybe you can speak on that. The second thing was, how do you sell it? Because if, let's say we're charging, I don't know, $500 to $700.
$500 to $700. Yeah.
Yeah. How do I sell that to a customer that will say, well, when I replace the windshield, it'll be $1,200 or whatever? And then I guess my last thing is going to be, if a rock does chip it just by fluke, let's say a little rock makes it through, how do I set their expectations correctly?
So that won't happen, first of all. So there's no expectations to set in that regards. That's not going to happen. The product right now, the current market today, is anywhere between 12 and I believe up to 18 months for warranty on the product. And that's anybody who's installing any windshield protection film today. I believe we're looking at, and again, I should know this by heart, but again, because I'm talking two different markets, US, Canada, it'll be between 24 and 36 months. So we're going to be above anybody else. And that's because our factory said, no issues, go with it. It's been tested in winter climate, Iceland. So it's been tested there, not an issue. Tested summer, not an issue. And you know those tools that you put against and you push and it shoots like whatever to get out of an emergency if you're underwater or whatever. We've tested it with those at all different levels of pressure. Not an issue. So your stone chip is not going to be a worrisome. I think where the winner is when you're looking at corporate vehicles or RVs. Replace an RV windshield, you're $8,000 to $12,000, and your deductible is going to be probably $2,000. You're going to pay to do an RV windshield maybe $900 to $1,100, and you're good for 3 years, whatever. Any vehicle. I was in the US not long ago, and it was funny because we were doing a train. Actually, we did a training at Don's place. I'll talk about that so you can relate a little easier. And in the parking lot, there was 3 or 4 vehicles that had either chips or cracks, that were visible.
Yeah.
And that just would disappear. You know what I mean? It's gone. So and take it for what it's worth, but I have a little bit of experience in building companies. When we built IGL 12 years ago, there was one company, maybe 2. There was CP and a little bit of G Technique at the time. That OP wasn't even there. They didn't exist at the time, but that was it. And then when we came on board, we passed both of them. They were in my rearview mirror, not looking forward anymore. But I say that this windshield protection film is what coatings was 12 years ago. That's how big I think the windshield protection film industry will be. And the beauty part is you don't have to be a PPF installer. You don't have to be a tint installer. It's not hard to install. 20 to 30 minutes, you're done.
Wow.
You're done. And it's not a tint, so you're nothing illegal for that. You know what I mean? You're not putting a tint on the windshield. And it's installed on the exterior. Very, very, very good repellent, like for beating and water. And Hannah posted a video yesterday, I believe, Anna, in our US rep. works for Mike and Dustin, and you could see them install it. You could see the hydrophobics. It's not a big deal.
That's
It's
excellent.
a great moneymaker.
Yeah, we're excited to do it. And Urjan texts me. He goes, "So when are we buying a roll of this stuff?"
Yeah.
I would have told him today.
Just be careful, because when you say anyone can install it, Urjan's going to think he can, and if he can install it, anybody can do it.
I guarantee you he'll be able to do it. He'll be able to do it.
How does it hold up with wipers?
Not a problem. So I thought at first, the click,
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that yet. But again, it's new, right, for us. So we're going to see.
What about snow scrapers?
Sorry?
What about snow scrapers?
I can't answer that. So it'll be a trial and go as we go. But I'm told that the Iceland testing, there was no issues at all. And it actually helped on the freezing. When your windshield freezes and that it didn't freeze as hard.
I'd assume if someone spends that amount of money, they'll be smart about it. But it was worth the question.
100%. Yeah. And again, it's something that it's reoccurring income. So it's like a coating, you buy a 1 year, a 3 year, a 4 year, a 5 year, whatever. So this is the same type of thing. One thing that I will inquire, and I haven't, and I'll put it out there before you ask me, what about coating the windshield after that's on? With the window coating, right? I'm going to ask the guys to test it for me in the US or whatever, or even here in Canada once we get it. So, because that'll be something that somebody's going to ask for sure.
Well, and it's something where for us, it's an easy upsell, because if they're already spending $700 or whatever it is, for us to charge them an extra 100, 200, they're going to do it. I mean, they're all about protection once it. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a big deal.
Urjan, do you got any questions?
And it doesn't have to be about Apeax. It can be about business and general, whatever you want.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna hit you with one. Did you ever feel like giving up, whether it was IGL? I mean, I know you're slowly.
Okay, I'll tell you. So in 1986, 87, now you guys may not have been born, I don't know, but I was working for a small company called Price Club. You guys know it as Costco today.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was a director there for other revenues. So when we started the Opti Club, we started the Tire Center, we started the Resto Club, we started all of these things. They didn't exist. But before that, we went out and we sold memberships. Like, I'm going back when there was 3 of them in Canada, okay? And we had to sell memberships. So you'd go to somebody and you'd say, okay, I want you to spend $65 so that you can come and spend money in our store and buy things, right? People thought we were like, you want me to pay to go shop in your store? Like, they thought we were crazy, right? And look today, look where it is today, right?
Oh, massive.
So you know what, we did really well. I mean, and then Price Club, Jim Siegel, who's the president of Costco, I don't know if he still is today, but he was at the time. He used to work for Price Club. Price Club has nothing to do with this. Sol Price was the owner of Price Club. And Sol Price, brother-in-law, was the owner of Steinberg's grocery stores in Quebec. This is way before your time. And but this is how far back, right? I was in the food industry for 27 years, 32 years actually. Yeah. So I had grocery stores, and I spent a lot of time in Windsor. Listen, I was vice president for a company called Aurora Importing, largest Italian importing company in Canada. And there's a few Italians in Windsor.
Just a few. Yeah.
So I spent, I used to go with our sales rep and visit Windsor and Winnipeg and different places. But yeah, so those are challenges. The biggest challenge is knowing what your challenge is. You guys have a business, you have a house, you have a car. You know how much you need to bring in every month to pay all of these bills. So the biggest challenge is you got to get up every morning to know how much you need to earn to contribute to that budget to get everything looked after every month, right? Mm-hmm. And then you also want to be able to build. So how do you do that? right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a question for you guys. So what are you guys doing to be able to do that? And if you're, and I always tell people, if you do the same, and I mean, you've heard it a million times, but if you do the same thing all the time, you're going to get the same type of result.
Yeah.
And the problem is when people start turning you down on those services because money's not as easy, whatever. But hey, to pivot over here because this is more needed today than this was. This is a luxury. This is more needed. So now you've got to look at your business and figure out what's more needed today and how to get that message across than the luxury. You know?
Yeah, it's all about adapting.
It's pivoting, adapting, however you want to call it. I used to always say, you know, and I do this when I do my speaking engagements, like when I'm in Vegas or in Florida for MTE. I speak to a lot of people every year. And one of the things that I always talk about is you go to work the same way every day, correct? You stop at the same Tim Hortons, you pick up the same coffee. I want a double. Joanne knows you very well. Hey, how are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Come on up to the window. It's here. The problem with that is because when you get to your shop, it's the same thing. I can go to your shop and I can tell you exactly what you do every day because the marks in the floor are going to show me what you do every day. You walk in, you unlock, you walk in, you go to the keypad, unlock your alarm, then you go to the back, turn on the lights, turn on the compressor, go around. You're going to start the coffee machine, get the Keurig going, maybe get yourself, and then, you know, so it's doing the same thing. What I want you to do is I want you to do something totally different. I want you to go to Second Cup tomorrow, not tomorrow's. I want you to go meet Debbie, who you've never met before, who's never seen the advertising on your vehicles before. Okay? You got to get uncomfortable. If you become uncomfortable in what you're doing, you're going to grow. If you're comfortable in what you're doing every day, you're never going to grow.
And I find for me, it's almost a trap, is comfort. And because you want some comfort, you don't want to be anxious all the time. But I'm the other way, where I loved being in like the hole where it's dark and there's fire in the corner and you don't know how to put it out. I'm that guy that you get addicted to that. And then I kind of go into where I'm like, hey, like I need to be comfortable. I deserve that. And then I added window tinting where it's a gong show. Like we don't know what we're doing. We're adding stuff on. It's fire. But we're kind of now at the point where it's like we're looking at other, like me and I brought
what's
one of my
next?
Yeah, it's what's next, or we're finally conquering it. We're getting good at it. Where I feel that and is there ever a time where there's how do I say this? Is there ever a time where you should value what you have in terms of instead of going, what's next? What do I do? Like, because I'm the person that used to be where it's like I always wanted the new thing. Where it's like I always wanted to jump on another boat. I always want to, what other boats are out there? Is there ever a time where I should look back at my business and say, okay, I got everything?
Okay, so when we sold IGL, IGL is not the first company I've sold personally or my partner Jeff in our history. Okay, so I've always been known as that guy to grab something, build it, make it successful, prove it, sell it, move on. Okay, so I don't think a lot of people were surprised when we sold IGL. But I think they sort of knew also because we never kept it a secret that we're going to be IGL till the day we die. That's not who we are as individuals. Okay, we like John. Because when I was retired, and then I was asked to come back out of retirement, I had the opportunity to grow multiple companies. Like I said, some I had to say no to. But Apeax piqued me, and the fact that Ed is a good friend and a smart cookie, and Alan, great guy, and gave me an opportunity to come in and try something different out of my comfort zone. Because I know nothing about tint and PPF, but I knew nothing about coatings. I knew nothing about detailing products. I'm not a detailer, never have been, never will be. And I'm not a PPF tint installer, never have been, never will be. I got people that work for us that are good at tint installing and PPF. Our distributors are good, but I don't need to be that guy. I need to be the guy that knows how we're going to grow and expand the company. Right? And that's what you guys, and maybe on a little minuscule level, like not on as global level, but a Windsor level. But there's a lot of other opportunities there, and I think that you haven't talked flat glass yet. Construction for flat glass.
No.
That's a banger money right there too, right? Any high rise going up, they're going to need tint. You know, think about the guys that are doing the buildings going up in Dubai and Punta Cana and places like that.
Yeah.
You know, I just bought a home in Dominican and Punta Cana, and I'm already talking to those guys about flat glass tint. Am I going to do anything about it? Absolutely not. But I'll sell them the product and make sure they have the best product and that they're good to go. But we'll find somebody to install it. Right? So, you know, it's just to find a pain point or to find something that somebody needs. And if you have that answer, great. If you don't and you're content with your business and everything, then there's still a way to grow your business. There's two ways to make more money in the world. There's no other formula. 2 ways. That's it. Sell more, cut costs. That's it. There's no other magic formula. Don't let anybody. Those are the only 2 ways you're going to make more money in the world today. You're going to increase your sales, so you're going to bring more revenue in, and you can leave it at that. Keep your expenses the way they are, or you're going to cut costs. So you're going to do both things. I was on a call yesterday with a guy, and he said, "Oh my God, I need to order that windshield protection film right away, blah, blah, blah. I'm going on holidays for 3 weeks." I'm saying, so why do you want to spend money and now, and you're going to be gone for 3 weeks? So that's tying up money, revenue for 3 weeks. So while you're gone, is your shop open? Yeah. So what if your people need other stuff that they don't have? Or what if a compressor goes and whatever, you know what I mean? So I always tell people, don't be loading up on products for nothing. And that's weird coming from a manufacturer or distributor, but I've always believed in that because I always thought that if you guys had an extra $2,000 to do local marketing in your business, instead of putting extra boxes of coatings in a closet, it's great to have one to go, one to show. You know what I mean? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Understand what position your distributor is in shipping and how that works, and work with that. But don't tie up a lot of money. Tie money up to your business that's going to make you more money, because those are the only 2 ways you can do it.
Interesting. So you mentioned quickly there about how you're not a window tint installer, PPF installer. You hire people essentially that know what they're doing.
Correct.
What do you look for when hiring or training people?
No drama. I'm not a drama guy. Listen, I'm Canadian. You understand. So IGL, when these keyboard warriors would go and start causing drama, I'd cut them off. I'd put them in penalty box. You're in a penalty box for 2 weeks. Well, what do you mean? I need a Kenzo. No, you go buy G Technique, go buy something else. I'm not telling you Kenzo for 2 weeks. Well, what do you mean you're not? No, because you're a drama queen. We don't have drama queens here. I don't deal with. I don't need people calling me saying so-and-so is a whine ass. He's doing this, doing that. No, I want people that all have the same goal. Let's all grow together. Let's all build successful companies together. Let's all act like responsible business people, not like a whiny.
Yeah.
No room in my world for that.
No, me neither.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I do that maybe a little differently than others, but you know what? I've always believed that that's going to hold you back. That's going to if I'm busy as president of a company dealing with not even my distributors, but it's now to my level, and I got to deal with people that are complaining about stupid shit, like it makes no sense. I am the guy that will answer my phone or my text, and you guys know that. We haven't even met yet, but and you can ask anybody in the industry. If I text Joel LaPalme, he'll get back to me, and I will, because, and I don't care if you buy my product, use my product. If you're a G Technique, a Ceramic Pro, whoever, whatever, if you just want to talk about an issue or a problem, I will pick up my phone and hear you out and try to help you figure it out.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Listen, Rennie Doyle and I talk once, twice a month. He'll call me up and, Joel, hey, what do you think of this? And blah, blah, blah. Or I'll call him up and, hey, what do you think of this? And blah, blah, blah. And you know what? We work well together, but we're both, we neither one of us need to be doing this. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm at my Cobble Beach house. I have a house in Dominican. I have my house in the Hockley Valley. I don't need to be doing this. I'm doing this because I'm enjoying doing this. I love helping people grow. I love watching people succeed. So when I retired, I didn't have to work, but I felt that there was still a lot that I could do to help people and to help businesses grow and go global in certain areas and stuff. So, and I'm not that old, so I still got lots in me. You know what I mean? So I said, okay, I'm going to do it.
Do you provide coaching, like business
Yeah,
coaching?
I do, but I do, and I do it a different way. Okay, this is one thing that pisses me off. You've got a lot of people in the detailing world that they weren't here yesterday, and tomorrow they're a coach, and they charge people X amount of dollars to coach them, and it's X amount a month or whatever. Dude, if you're Grant Cardone and you're going to show me something great, if you're Tony Robbins, you're going to show me something great, I'll pay you because you have that. But if you're a detailer who has a tent in your driveway and you're renting the house that you're working at, no, because the shit you're going to tell me is all plagiarism. It's all stuff you're going to find online and Google or whatever, blah, 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 right? I don't believe in it. I think that if you find real good people, they will help you for a very small amount or for nothing at all, because depending how simple the question is, right? I've had people call me and just crying. Hey, I don't know what I'm going to do next month. I'm in a jam, blah, blah, blah. Okay, do you mind sharing your P&L? Oh, what's a P&L? Oh, you don't know what a profit and loss statement is. Okay, now we got a problem. So let's start off with that. What do you do for your bill? How do you record it? Oh, well, I just do it in QuickBooks. So you don't have an accountant. You don't know what a P&L is. Now we got to get into it a little bit, right? So we got to understand, because you have fixed expenses and you have non-fixed expenses, right? So ones that you can control. So your hydro, that's fixed. Your rent, that's fixed, right? The things that aren't fixed are your air conditioning unit, maybe your soaps, your products you buy, because those are things that you control. Some you don't control. You don't have a choice. So we got to evaluate both of those and then figure out where there's a problem, because you may be living above your means. I talk to detailers all the time, and I see them online, and yeah, I'm like a father to some, so I'll write the question. I'll say, hey, Tom, wow, I saw you bought your wife a really nice Louis Vuitton purse. You had a really great dinner at the really fancy The Keg, whatever, right? And they're saying, oh yeah, I had a great coating day, da 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 da. So the money for the coating job you put in your pocket. Oh yeah. Well, that's not how you run a business. The money goes in the business. The business pays you. And if you want more money out of the business, then write yourself a dividend. Get yourself a dividend. Because the only way you're going to be able to do what we did and what other people, big companies do, selling your company in the future, is by doing proper accounting business, right? You got to show that your business can make money. Okay, I had a company, not a distributor. I had a company approach me, wanted me to buy their company in the detailing world. And I said, okay, let me look at it. Let me evaluate it. So when I was done evaluating it, I said, what do you think your brand is worth? Oh, it's got to be, 1 to 2, 3 million maybe. I said, no. I said, you're worth maybe $115,000. Well, how did you get to that number? That's impossible. My brand's worth that much more. Numbers don't lie. That's the problem. So if you start lying with your numbers today, you're going to have a hard time later on. So this is why I always tell people, it's great. Take your wife out for a beautiful dinner. Buy her a Louis Vuitton purse, but write yourself a dividend check and list it as a check, because that's a bonus to you. You worked hard for it. You have the money. You can afford it. That's fine. Do that. But don't just take the money and put it in your pocket, because now you're cheating yourself on your company side, because your companies should be worth more. It's making more. You're not showing me how much it's making.
Is that a mental thing too? Is it one of those things where by doing that, it's forcing you to look at the business as a separate entity?
Well, and the business is a separate entity.
No,
The
but I mean
business is not
forcing
an
you. So,
extension of you.
right, but I feel there's a lot of detailers that think that, where they're like, okay, so
Oh,
for
they do.
example,
Totally do. Totally
right.
do. Because you know what? They figured they had $80. They went and bought 2 buckets, a few rags, and some soap. They're in business, which they are. But how do we grow that business and how do we spend our money wisely? Because today, if I spend $75 and with that $75, I was able to make $350. What do I do with that $350? How do I use that? Where does it go? You know, what categories? And that's what people need to learn. I think that detailers, it's a low entry point, and you don't require a law degree or a degree to get into detailing, right? And it's sad because even kids in school today, like, they're not learning what they should be learning.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to teach people the proper mechanics of how to grow, how to save, how to buy things, how to spend money. And you know, your business, if it's making great money, it should have an investment arm. Is your business buying Nvidia right now? It should have. Nvidia is at all-time high. Bitcoin at all-time high. Did you maybe grab 2,000 of your business money invested there so you can grow your business? Those are normal things that you should be asking yourself. You know, when we sold the business, our accounting firm that we use was PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. Everybody knows PwC. They're a tier 1 accounting firm globally. So when we sold the business and the potential buyers were looking at our business, we were able to show books that were done by PwC. So if I showed you books that were done by Joanne Smith, how would you get in there and look at everything, right? You'd be a little concerned about stuff. But knowing that PwC did it, it's almost, okay, I'm going to take it for its word because I know it's going to be bang on, right? Because if not, they're accountable, not me. That's why I paid them what we paid them.
Interesting.
So, and that projects the type of business you are. So when you get to that level and you're investing 15, 20 grand a year US on accountants, you know that you're doing something solid and you know that they're looking out for you. And they're also, and I'll just throw this out there, but when your company gets to a certain level, when you work with accounting firms like that, they're also people that will bring buyers to the table because they deal with those clients. They deal with the rich people, the investors, the people that buy companies, the people that like those challenges, right? So when you tell your accounting, listen, I think we're going to try to sell the business. Could you prepare stuff for us? And they'll say, yeah, I would love to. Also, we may have 2 or 3 people interested in your business because your numbers look good. So they may bring people to the table too.
That's a good point. Kind of to go off on that for a second, how did you get into the automotive industry? So you said that you were at Costco or whatever.
So I was retired. I was vice president for Aurora Foods. I had retired from that venture. And my wife got tired of seeing me at home. She said, you got to get out of the house. I'll kill you. So I said, okay. So I went into town and I bought a detailing shop. We had 3 employees. And we grew the business. And then what happened was, and I didn't detail, I just grew the business, right? Remember one thing you're going to learn is you got to spend less time working in your business and more time working on your business. Okay. So I was working on the business while they were working in the business. And then a lady came in and she had 2 classic cars and said, hey, could you coat these? And I didn't know what that was. So I went online, I searched coatings, and I found G Technique. And they love when I tell this story because they told me to go take a long walk off a short bridge. And because they said I didn't have experience, I didn't know anything. They know I was never going to be able to be a G Technique installer. And I said, no problem. So what they did is they lit a fire into me because what I did was build companies and sold them. So then I went looking for a coating company online, and I found this coating company in Malaysia called IGL. And I called them up and I spoke to Kyong, the owner, and I said, hey, I'm in Canada. I'd love to know more about your product. He talked to me for a good hour and a half. Fantastic guy, amazing guy. And I said, okay, I'd like to buy your product. He says, I don't have a Canadian distributor. I said, but that's okay. I'll just give you my credit card and send me what I need to do the jobs, and I'll try it out. So he did that, and we did the cars for the lady. She came back, picked up her car. She says, I have 18 more to do. So now I'm on the phone calling Kyung again. I said, I need more product. I don't have a Canadian. We went through the whole scenario. And I said, what's it going to take to be a Canadian distributor? He says, well, you got to guarantee you buy X amount a year to get the country. And, you have to have distribution. I said, well, I've done 27, 32 years of distribution of food. I understand the distribution game. This is just a different product. So I said, I can do that. He said, okay, well, you'll have to spend X amount to get the distribution. So I said, okay. So 4 days later, he calls me. He says, Mr. LaPalme, he says, well, I got a registered mail from you. I said, yeah. I said, that's the amount of money that you said it would take me to buy Canada. He says, oh, you were serious? I said, well, yeah. He says, well, what do you want? I said, I don't know what you sell. I said, send me whatever that amount of money buys me to be your distributor. So he cashed his money.
Crazy.
And then here's the best part. So my partner Jeff, him and I curling and golf together. So we were golfing, and I said to Jeff, because Jeff was in the seismic data industry, so he bought and sold information underground to gas companies. Okay, that was his company. So he had sold his company. It was a publicly traded company. He sold it. He got out of it. He was semi-retired too. So I called him, and we were golfing. And I said, is Andrea giving you a hard time being semi-retired, like being at home all the time? And he says, yeah, a little bit, because she was still, doing stuff. And I said, okay. So I said, I have an idea. I said, I want you to look this up, ceramic coatings. Go home tonight, check it out. Let me know what you think. So he goes home, and he calls me the next day. He said, holy shit. He says, I think this is going to be I think this is going to be something that's going to take off. I said, I think so too. I said, would you be interested in if we look at it and we buy something? He says, yeah, I'm in. I said, okay, you owe me this much because I'd already bought, right? So I told him, now you're in. Now you're 50-50 with me. So the next week we had to go to SEMA because SEMA was on. So I was going to meet this Kyung guy for the first time in my life. So Jeff and I go to SEMA. We get there, and IGL USA had a booth, but it was detailers, and they had a hood, and they only had a 10x10. So imagine a hood in a 10x10 booth. Then they're polishing, and they're doing this. They're looking at the hood. They're not looking at people walking by. They're not talking to anybody. They're not nothing. Okay? So I said to Kyung when he got there, I said, these guys are not going to last as US distributor. He says, why? I said, they're detailers. They don't know how to build a big company and do it right, because look what they're doing. They're not talking to anybody. This is a game where we have to talk to people. You have to explain. You have to talk to people. People got to like you. People buy from people they like and trust. Bottom line. So it doesn't matter if your shop's selling OP, CP, G-Technique, IGL. The customer doesn't care.
No.
The customer cares what you're doing because they're investing in you. They're investing in what you're going to do to their car. So that was the whole thing. So, and Jeff and I got there, and we're talking to people and handing out cards, and you're from where? Oh, okay. You want to talk to this guy, that guy. So we went for dinner with Kyung before we left Vegas that day or that week. And we told him, I said, you're going to call us. You're going to want us to buy the U.S. He says, well, no, I've been dealing with these guys for 3 years. I think they're good. I said, dude, they're in Hawaii. You can't have a distributor for the U.S. based in Hawaii. Your shipping rates are going to be stupid, right? So anyways, 2 weeks later, Jeff and I are driving to Montreal. We have a big meeting set up in Montreal. We get a call on our cell. Kyung, hey, how are you guys? Good. We're on our way to Quebec. We're going to go open a distributor in Quebec, in Sherbrooke. And he's like, oh, yeah. I said, yeah. We were going to see the Galapos. We're my distributor for Quebec now for Apeax. And he says, oh, okay. He says, hey, were you joking about the U.S. or were you serious? I said, how much? And that's how we ended up buying the U.S. and continuing to grow, right? But we had a plan. Within 1 week, we had warehouse distribution, stock in the U.S., and we were selling within 1 week. When we bought the company in the US, they had 35 customers. When we sold 9.5, 10 years later, Jeff and I, 5,300 and something on customers on the company. Different than 35.
Okay.
Okay. And again, that's the thing, because I could sell you Delete. Delete was my lure. You know, when you go fishing, you have your favorite lure, catches all the big fish. Delete was our lure, because we knew everybody had coatings. A lot of people had this. Nobody had a water spot remover. Nobody had a water spot remover like Delete. So we would call the CP guys and say, hey, I understand you're looking for a water, because they post it, right? Anybody know a good water spot remover, blah, blah, blah. So we just went in and, yeah, but I don't want an account. You don't have to. It's free. We don't. Yeah, but I don't want to buy in. We don't have buy-ins. Oh, I don't want to spend a minimum of this much a month. We don't have that. You want to buy Delete to take care of your water spot problem? Here, I'll give you a code. You go in the back end of the program, your detailer, you're going to get a discount. You're going to pay this much. And by the way, if you spend $500 or more while you're there, it's free shipping. If you don't, no big deal. So people would go buy Delete, try it, love the product. They loved the service. They loved the efficiency of the delivery. They loved everything we were doing. So now when they came back, I'm going to try a couple of other items. And that's how you grow. It's like you, when you're selling in your shop, people come in to get the detailing. They love what you do for detailing. Next time they come in, you're going to talk about something else, right? You're going to add to that little menu, right? And that's the same thing, same principles.
Yeah, it's because it's kind of like the easiest people to make buy again or to have buy again, someone who trusts you already.
100%.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, Rajan, kind of before we wrap up?
Man, honestly, I got so much information.
But feel free, hey guys.
I was locked in.
Yeah, feel free. Give me a call, shoot me a text, an email, whatever. We can get on the call. It doesn't.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I for sure will. This was one that really opened my eyes. I reached out because I was looking at all the different vendors we have or different people I know and in the industry. And I'm like, yeah, Apeax is a good one, because we had Paulo and he kind of talked. I'm like, we haven't had anybody from Global on.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to Paul. I was like, you should try and see if Joel will come on. I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. Because like me and you, we've never talked. I've seen you. Like I've seen like publicly.
Probably see me do lives and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I'm like, so like but I also haven't been a big follower of yours. Just the circles weren't like they didn't really mesh. Yeah. And then when Paula had him, he goes, no, like this guy's great. You're gonna really like him, whatever. Like, trust me, just have him on. I'm like, okay. So we reached out. Yeah. Fantastic. Even just to talk to. You were great to talk to and deal with.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
And this episode actually was a great eye opener, because I didn't know much about your past. I mean, Paula told me a few things. I looked into it. But you have a ton of knowledge, and I will for sure be messaging you later about different.
And that's what I want people to understand, right? There's a lot of good people in the industry. There's a lot of bad apples. There's a lot of people that, oh yeah, for so much a month or whatever, you're gonna get a newsletter. You're gonna get, dude. That doesn't take any experience. Show me what you've done. Show me what you got, right? Like I said, if I go to Grant Cardone, he's going to show me his jet. Okay, you got a jet? If you got a jet, then I know you're somebody that's done something and grew something, right? So you gotta, if you follow a winner, you'll become a winner. If you follow a loser, well, you know the answer. So,
right? Well, we appreciate you coming on. It was a great episode. We are gonna put all of Joel's information down below in the descriptions, and
feel free to put my cell, my Joel at apeax.com. No problem. Go ahead. I have no issues with that. And if anybody has questions, Canada, US, whoever watches your stuff, I'll share it on my social too.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I got some followers, and we'll get some people seeing it. Okay.
So to end the episode, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate it. The website again is suds2successpodcast.com. We have a ton of information on there, a ton of different referral links for different things like you're able, and tons of cool information there. And on all of our short form content, Suds2 Success Podcast is our information. Again,
You're able to a great company, by the way. I'm friends with everybody there. They're awesome. They're all good. They're all good. There's nobody that's not good.
They're on next week.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I've been with them since they started.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
great people.
They are.
So please like and subscribe and have a great week detailing. Take care.